Welcome to Heart Book Radio. You're tuned in the only radio show brave enough to tackle love, loss, and literary lunacy. I'm your resident Cupid, always ready to believe in the power of a good meet cute.
And I'm the voice of reason here to remind you that meet cute is often just a fancy term for future grounds of divorce. But hey, even I can appreciate a good story. And today we're diving into Julie Teuer's The Girl Most Likely to Have Frenemies to Lovers, contemporary romance set at a high school reunion.
Oh, a high school reunion, the perfect breeding ground for awkward encounters, rekindled flames, and the crushing realization that the guy who peaked in senior year is now, well, still peaking but with a mortgage.
Don't forget the desperate attempts to prove you're doing great even if your life is currently resembling a dumpster fire, set ablaze by a rogue bottle rocket, which coincidentally sounds a bit like our protagonist Rachel Dang. Most likely to succeed, right? Turns out life had other plans employed, as she says.
See, this is where the book grabbed me. Rachel's not your typical romance heroine. She's 38, laid off from her long-time job and kind of floundering. It's refreshing. Not everyone finds their happily ever after in their 20s. Some of us are still figuring things out, even while living with a television star best friend.
Living with a television star best friend who, from what some folks are saying, isn't always the best friend. But let's focus on the main train wreck. Rachel's decision to attend this reunion prompted by a Facebook direct message from her former frenemy Danny fan.
Danny, oh, he's the dreamy, unfocused in high school, but now thriving life coach type classic role reversal. And their history, forget enemies to lovers. This is more like intense America online chat buddies who never quite made it to lovers. They had a you've got mail thing going on.
Ah, yes, the good old days of anonymous online chats where you could be anyone you wanted until you realized you were confessing your deepest secrets. To the guy you were supposed to be tutoring in algebra, the sheer cringe factor alone is giving me second-hand embarrassment.
But it's sweet cringe, and the book does a great job of capturing that millennial nostalgia the America Online screen names the burned compact discs. The dashboard confessional lyrics, it's like a time capsule of awkward teenage longing. One review, and my heart agrees. It's like they're almost 40 and going through a midlife crisis with this whole reunion.
Nostalgia is a powerful drug, my friend, and it's clearly what drives the bulk of this story. The entire reunion night becomes this whirlwind of mishaps and misadventures. A cactus incident, a car crash, a run-in with security. It's like the universe is conspiring to throw these two together.
It's all part of the charm, and it gives them the chance to actually talk, to finally address the misunderstandings and poorly chosen words that derailed their connection 20 years ago. You can feel the chemistry sizzling even after all this time.
Sizzling might be a strong word. I'd say it's more like a low simmer. Because let's be honest, the book doesn't exactly pile on the angst. There aren't a ton of major obstacles keeping them apart, at least not in the present. It really makes some of these moments more relatable.
The conflict is more internal. It's about Rachel realizing she doesn't have to be the perfect, most likely to succeed version of herself anymore. She can embrace the messiness of life. The unexpected detours, and Danny, bless his heart, he's just there for it. He's the supportive, slightly pudgy, pre-diabetic life coach of her dreams.
You had me at slightly pudgy. See, even I can appreciate a realistic male lead. And I will admit, he does a decent job of calling Rachel out on her, shall we say, less than stellar behavior. She's been called childish, shallow, and even mean growth, my friend. It's a concept.
She's a work in progress, and that's what makes her relatable. She's flawed, but you're rooting for her. You want her to figure things out, both in her career and in her love life. She is an adult and has to deal with the challenges that entails.
Though some readers did find her a bit too impulsive, even after 2 decades, and I can see their point, some of her dialogue. Her stubbornness, it makes you want to shake her and say, girl, you're almost 40, get it together.
But that's part of the journey, and the book's fast, pacing the one-night adventure. It keeps things moving. You're swept up in the chaos, the rediscovery, even if you're just tuning in to see how corny these two are.
The ending, though, that's been a point of contention. Some found it a bit abrupt, a little too neatly tied up with a bow. And as someone who deals with the messy aftermath of happily ever afters, I can appreciate that criticism.
It's a choice, but for a light, sweet second-chance romance, I think it works. It's the kind of book you read when you want a feel-good escape. A reminder that maybe, just maybe, those high school crushes aren't entirely a lost cause.
Or, a cautionary tale about the dangers of online anonymity and unresolved teenage angst. Either way, it's entertaining. I'd say the girl most likely to buy Julie Tieu is worth a listen, especially if you're a millennial craving a dose of nostalgia with your romance. 3.5 stars, maybe rounded up to 4 for the sheer audacity of that cactus scene.
I'm going with a solid 4. It's a warm, funny, and ultimately hopeful story about second chances, self-discovery, and the enduring power of a good America online away message, and that is very high praise from someone as cynical as myself.
That's all the time we have for today. Folks, join us next week when we dissect a gothic romance featuring a brooding vampire and a surprisingly feisty librarian here on Heartbook Radio.
I'm already sharpening my legal pad prenuptial agreement. Anyone,